in front of him. I suspect that Francis, even at an advanced age, will probably be able to stop any kind of takedown effort and certainly win on the feet. He should not lose this fight.
He moved on. He took a chance on himself. He stepped off that cliff of life, where life could be ending or beginning, and it's beginning big in boxing, and we're happy about it. Probable, and we're going to do everything we can to make that happen. Francis is training hard. He's going to be stronger, better, smarter.
Boxing experts and betting analysts largely expect that Francis Ngannou's elite crossover power will be too much for Philipe Lins, strongly favoring the Predator to secure a dominant victory. Even Eric Nixick has revealed the secret weapon that is keeping Ngannou in peak condition to fully dismantle Lins.
We got one of the best strength and conditioning coaches in the game, and Trip Hale. We hired Trip back in the Tyson Fury camp, and him and Francis have built this great relationship and rapport. Trip will travel with him. He's been to Cameroon. He's been to Dubai, to Paris. So having Trip involved in keeping him and Francis's life throughout, in and out of camp, has put us in a position to where we're able to get into camp in shape and ready to go. Like I was telling you last time you and I talked, like it's been an amazing camp, but moreover, because of Francis' discipline and because of the help.
However, former champion Junior Dos Santos, a man who has stood face to face with the powerhouse himself, warns that writing off the underdog too early could be a huge mistake. He believes a hidden, lightning-fast game plan could spark a shocking upset that turns the entire division upside down.
Man, that's what people don't understand about Felipe. Of course, Francis Ngannou is the favorite, and that's all good with that. But we cannot count Felipe out of this. He has a style, a very good style actually, and he's fast. So I really believe he implements well his strategy. He's gonna be a problem for Ngannou, and maybe we can see some interesting things happening in this fight.
Drawing from his own brutal night in the cage against Francis, Dos Santos shares a haunting lesson about what happens when you lose focus for even a split second. It is a chilling reminder from personal experience that sticking to the blueprint is the only way to survive the storm.
Also, I shared with him a little bit what was my experience in fighting with Francis Ngannou. Because on my strategy at that time, and I went out of the strategy was not polite at the beginning. Just to move around and take advantage of my speed and everything. But the first kick I threw on Francis Ngannou, he fall down. And then I was moving around, finding angles, and I was feeling comfortable. So I said, oh my gosh, I'm gonna try that big punch. And that was my mistake, because I tried the big punch, he countered on top of it, and enjoyed the moment to finish the fight. So I told him, you gotta stick to your strategy. What's the strategy? So stick to that and make it happen.
Having shared the canvas with Ngannou, the veteran knows exactly how to crack the code if the underdog can drag the monster into deep waters. Dos Santos, mapping out this precise path to victory, sends a clear warning that a massive shock could be brewing if the fight goes into the later rounds.
I really believe, Felipe will bring some very good excitement for this fight, and I don't think it's too hard for him to really win this fight, especially if it takes longer than when expected.
Former champion Michael Bisping takes a deep dive into Ngannou's wild journey, from total dominance to a brutal setback that shook the combat sports world. It perfectly sets the stage for a man who still carries the most terrifying reputation on the planet.
Ngannou being still one of the most feared men on the planet, the former UFC heavyweight champion of the world. He went over to the PFL, he became the champion there. He absolutely destroyed Renan Ferreira, and he had a couple of boxing matches, as we know, and made a fortune.
Bisping then shifts his focus to the dangerous underdog, who is riding a quiet but impressive win streak that most fans are completely overlooking. While their careers may look very different on paper, this breakdown shows exactly why counting him out would be a huge mistake.
UFC 299, if I remember rightly, That went down in Miami, and of course, he took on Ion Cutelaba. He got the win. Ion Cutelaba realistically is a light heavyweight. Before that, he beat Maxim Grishin, he beat Vincent Prue, and he beat Marcin Prachnio. So he left the UFC on a 4-fight win streak. There was a couple of losses in there beforehand to Tanner Boser and Andrei Arlovsky, but as I say, he won his last 4. Now, he is 40 years old, and respectfully, he never had the kind of career that Francis Ngannou did. As I say, he was the former UFC heavyweight champ, and he went and, made some money in the boxing world, so fair play.
Stepping back into the cage after carrying the weight of deep personal tragedy, the powerhouse is determined to prove he has evolved into a completely different animal. Bisping suggests that this comeback fight will not just be a routine victory. It will be a statement that shocks the world.
It's going to be a great night for Francis Ngannou. And we know what happened with Francis. Sadly, he was involved in that accident where a young lady lost her life, so that was no doubt a troubling time. And it's crazy that happened to him. And the similar kind of thing, well, a car accident happened with Anthony Joshua. Those two guys fought each other and both went through awful circumstances. Of course, with Ngannou's side, a young lady lost her life. With Anthony Joshua, he lost 2 friends in that accident. Just unbelievable. And you got to think, more than likely, Francis Ngannou is going to go out there and do what he does. Or who knows? Maybe he's going to shoot a double leg. Maybe he's going to take him down, win by Anaconda or something.
Oh, you're a wrestler.
Because this is the statement from Francis Ngannou. While the world was busy talking, I was busy evolving. Silence shouldn't be mistaken for absence. It's the sound of a predator closing the distance. Stepping back into the cage isn't just a return, it's a reclamation.
The legendary Chael Sonnen focuses on Ngannou's subtle shift in persona, analyzing how a simple look could indicate a significant psychological shift. He believes the powerhouse may be preparing to make a claim that will completely disrupt the heavyweight division.
Sunglasses indoors. That's interesting to me. Now, that's very simple. Like a guy that understands he needs a gimmick, but he's too uncreative to come up with one, would put sunglasses on. Okay. I'll take a simple gimmick in front of no gimmick. All the fighting nerds did is put a little tape in between their glasses. They became the greatest faction MMA has ever seen. The single greatest faction MMA has ever seen. The most monetizable and profitable as well. They sold those glasses. So I'm not against Francis putting these on. What if Francis came out and claimed he is the true champion? He's the baddest heavyweight in the world.
Sonnen takes it even further, outlining a brilliant yet villainous path for the powerhouse to maximize his terrifying aura. It raises the wild possibility that we may be about to see a completely different, much darker version of the giant step into the cage.
There's an opportunity. I don't think that Francis is the performer. I don't think that he quite has those skills, but you could feed him a line or two. Hand him a line or two, say to the mic, walk out. Monsters don't talk. I think there's opportunity here. I think Coach is onto something. And I think that Francis should give a real consideration to turning heel.
The Barnhill brothers break down the significant gap in skill, highlighting a reckless habit that could prove fatal for the underdog. They warn that exchanging wild shots with the most dangerous puncher alive can only end in one devastating outcome.
Francis is an even bigger favorite than Ronda is. Philipe Lins, had close competition with Ion Cutelaba. He had a nice knockout of Vincent Prue.
At light heavyweight. Remember.
Yeah, light heavyweight. But the one thing when you look at Philippe's tape, you don't need to watch too much to see that the guy just swings wild. No, he's powerful. He can hurt you, but not to the level of Francis can. When you're standing throwing wild shots in front of Francis Ngannou, what's the conclusion? You're going to get...
Looking ahead to how the fight could unfold, the brothers predict a complete demolition that will be over before it truly begins. Fans are warned not to blink, because this main event is shaping up to be a short, violent masterpiece.
He's going to be able to take Francis down and control him. I see Francis Ngannou getting this fight done via TKO in round 1. And look, if you're somebody that does wind up buying one of those tickets to go to the event, or you do decide to sign into Netflix and watch the show as it goes on, be sure you tune in early. Because the only fight that's likely to go the distance is Nate Diaz versus Mike Perry, and then everything else that's going to be worth watching is going to happen on the prelims. So tune in early and don't miss those, because I have a feeling the main and the co-main are going to last about a grand total of 5 minutes.
Striking coach Dewey Cooper puts everything on the line, issuing a strong warning about the pure danger his fighter brings into the cage. He makes it clear they are not just aiming for a win. They are stepping in to send a frightening message to the entire combat sports world.
Real man doing real things. Francis is a threat to anyone in boxing, and we're going to show that on March.
Respected analyst Luke Thomas challenges the audience, asking whether fans are accepting a matchup they never truly asked for. He pulls back the curtain on the fight business, urging everyone to look beyond the promotional hype and consider the real question.
There's a chance that fight sucks, but I'd say it's more likely than not that it doesn't. So I'm really not complaining in that particular sense, but you know me, I love to complain. So here's what I do want folks to focus on, and it's the thing that kind of drives me nuts these days. And I said this on MK. Guys, I cannot overstate to you how many years I have watched boxing fans do this bit where they want a certain set of fights, whether it's from this promoter or that promoter, whether it's from this fighter, or that fighter, whatever the case may be. And they don't get it. They get something kind of close to it. They get something kind of approximating it. They get something, it's kind of like a version of it. And then what everyone says during that time is like, oh, well, it's good for the promotion because they'll make a lot of money on it. Oh, well, the fighter was right to take this fight because it's a good tune-up for them, or, whatever the reasons might be or something. And never in it does the fan ever center what they want. In every one of those circumstances, they'll center what the promotion needs, what they think the sport needs, or what they think the individual fighters might benefit from, never asking themselves, do I want this? Do you want a Francis Ngannou versus Philipe Lins?
While acknowledging the massive historical stakes of the event, Thomas refuses to buy into the corporate excitement surrounding this matchup. He hints at a much bigger, far more explosive alternative that leaves fans wondering what might have been.
Again, I will watch it. I mean, no interest is strong. I have very, very moderate interest, right? I'm not like jazzed by it. It has relevancy because Netflix is getting into MMA. This will be one of the more watched events of the year. Again, as the lineal heavyweight champion of MMA, in that sense, yes, sort of paying attention to what happens there is kind of important. But like, am I going to sit here and pretend and make a video like, oh, I'm like super excited about like, oh, okay, Ngannou versus Lins. That's the one we've been waiting for. And I know what you're going to say out there. You're watching this. You're going to say, Luke, that's not fair. That's not fair. Like, what is MVP supposed to do? And one more time, there are other ones that I would have been a lot more interested in that I think the fans really would have gotten behind. I do think an Eddie Hall fight is absolutely would have been a significantly better choice. And maybe it leads to better fights down the road for Francis.
NFL legend Michael Irvin reacts with pure amazement after witnessing Ngannou's raw power up close, comparing it to the most terrifying force in football history. His first-hand account offers a chilling glimpse of the destruction that could be unleashed inside the cage.
Power of Francis. That was scary. That was scary. You know what it reminds me of? I promise you, and we're out here on the beach, it reminds me of Larry Allen. Very few people in the world have that kind of power. Yeah. Where you're like, man, that's...
Urban and Le'Veon Bell then break down a frightening training session where the giant did not even break a sweat while effortlessly tossing his coaches around. They warn that the underdog's only hope is to turn this into a wrestling match or face a lightning-fast finish.
And you know he's powerful because even after the workout, he wasn't even breathing hard. He wasn't breathing hard at all. He just hitting that power, knocking his the trainer, knocking him back. But with the pad knocking him back, he's still not fatigued or tired at all. The trainer was like, he will roll out. He ain't want no more. At all. He didn't want any more. Too many times. I was like, dude, I hate that fight. There is going to be dangerous. Yeah. I thought he's fighting. I thought Lynn, I was going to need more weight. Yeah, he didn't. Press a little bigger. He must be. He's going to go in and grapple. Right. He can't get hit. He get hit. It'll be over. I'm so excited for that fight.
The powerhouse himself, Francis Ngannou, opens up about the raw, untamed instinct that truly separates him from every other fighter on the planet. It is a chilling reminder that his greatest weapon is not just his legendary power. It is a relentless, primal hunger to survive and conquer.
A lot of good people, having a disaster career, a horrible career, because they don't maybe have what made them a fighter. I think I'm not a fighter because I'm good. I believe that I'm a fighter because of that instinct that drive that I have, which make me be who I am. I mean, I started this sport again, still a long time ago. Today, we can say 13 years ago, but I get in the very top of the game in the, 7 years, you know, so I'm still new in the sport. And I believe that in terms of skills, people that been around for a long time, that been doing this since they were kids, they still have a good skill than me. But bro, I want it. I think, and that have always been my drive, my motivation, my ass, you know, that little thing, that help you to push a little bit more than other people. And
stepping directly into the line of fire, Philipe Lins delivers a fearless response, fully confident that he has the veteran experience needed to achieve the unthinkable. He vows to shock the world on fight night, turning this heavy-hitting clash into an all-out war.
And I use my first to punish my opponents. I'm work hard on it to fight you. I'm believing it. I won it, and I'm ready to fight you, man. I'm excited to go there and do the best fight of my career, and with a blessing of God, beat a huge guy, huge fighter.
What do you think is the key to beating him?
I'm an experienced fighter. I'm believing myself, and.
But in terms of attack, what do you need to do?
You guys need to see May 16th.
Head coach Eric Nixick weighs in with a crucial update, revealing that the Giant has returned to his roots lighter, faster, and more motivated than ever, with his focus completely locked back onto mixed martial arts. The camp sends a clear warning that a prime version of the Predator is about to be unleashed.
With the weight and the cardio that Francis came into camp with, you usually have about a 2-week kind of pre-camp, but this time around he came in really in shape, weight was down and cardio was up, so couldn't be happier. The first thing I noticed about Francis is definitely his mindset. He's super excited to get back into camp. For him, he spent so many years at developing his MMA, and we saw what he was able to do, and then he stepped over into boxing and kind of MMA took a back seat. But during that time, he was always telling me, he's like, man, I really miss MMA. I'm excited to get back in. And as a coach, I think that's refreshing because we all understand how difficult not only MMA is, but the wrestling element, the kicking, the striking, all those things put together. And it takes a lot out of you. So for somebody to be eager to get back into a sport that's inherently tougher, I was excited to have him back.
Even Ngannou's grueling preparation shows a man pushing his body beyond its absolute limits to reach frightening levels of speed and endurance. The intensity behind closed doors offers a terrifying glimpse that he is preparing to unleash a fully upgraded version of his legendary power. This explosive showdown between Francis Ngannou and Philipe Lins promises to be an absolute thriller, matching terrifying power against veteran toughness and calculated discipline. With the combat sports world split between predicting a lightning-fast demolition or a shocking late-round upset, everything will be on the line once the cage door closes. This is not just a fight for a single win, but a defining moment that could completely reshape the future of the heavyweight division. As tension reaches its peak, fans across the globe are bracing for a violent collision where one mistake could change everything in an instant. What do you believe will be the deciding factor when these two giants clash? Do you think Lins can survive the early storm and pull off one of the biggest upsets in heavyweight history? Will Ngannou's evolved mindset and peak conditioning lead to a brutal statement victory? Or could the underdog's lightning-fast strategy shock the world? How will Ngannou handle the immense pressure of returning to the cage after everything he has endured outside of it? Could we see him adjust his style by relying more on wrestling instead of simply hunting for a knockout? Can Lins follow the blueprint shared by Junior Dos Santos to avoid a direct clash early on? Or will the overwhelming aura and power of the Predator prove impossible to escape? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And do not forget to subscribe to the channel and stay tuned for more videos like this.